Alright, welcome back to WMMA Now with your host Chuck Stevenson, coming at you with a special two-fight preview. So we're going to this Friday, December 31st, New Year's Eve, to the Saitama Super Arena in Japan for RIZIN 33. Now I'll tell you what, the more you get into MMA and you start to expand beyond just like UFC and Bellator and whatnot, you come to realize that New Year's Eve is just not New Year's Eve without a big-time Japanese MMA show. And for the last several years, 6, 7 years now, that has been RIZIN. And they have been doing a stellar job of it, and I think they put a good card together with this one, including 2 ladies bouts. I like them both. You've got some good veterans against savvy, young, up-and-coming prospects. One of them is one of the best prospects, brightest prospects in the game right now. So let's go ahead and get into these fights in the order that they will be taking place. So first up, we have a super atomweight bout, 108 pounds, 49 kilograms. Ayaka Hamasaki taking on Seika Izawa. Now that is the super atomweight champion, Ayaka Hamasaki, taking on Seika Izawa in a non-title bout. This bout will not be for the title. That is one of those things that you will just learn is something very common in Japanese MMA, that they will have their champions in non-title bouts. It is infuriating. It is frustrating. It's downright dumb, in my opinion, but you just get used to it after a while. Anyway, this is a very exciting fight. I like the matchup. I think it's going to be more competitive than a lot of people initially think, especially all the internet know-it-alls out there. Let's go ahead and get into the statistics on this one. So Hamasaki coming in with a huge experience advantage. 23-3 to 4-0 for Seika Izawa. Izawa is very new to the game. Now Hamasaki is on a 4-fight winning streak. Most recently defeated Kana Asakura via split decision 8 months ago. Then defeated Emi Fujino in RIZIN 3 months ago. Izawa, of course, undefeated at 4-0. Most recently picked up the Deep Jewels Strawweight Championship over Miki Matono 5 months ago. And then just a month and a half ago in Deep defeated Shiyu Park in a super atomweight bout. She moved down in weight, won that bout, and everyone knew that that was a ticket into RIZIN here. So youth favors Izawa here. She's 24 to Hamasaki's 39 years. However, keep in mind that with that age comes wisdom, comes fight experience, and if you've been watching Ayaka Hamasaki, age has not really slowed her down at all in any of her previous fights. Now, she's got a couple of decisions lately, but, had a couple of finishes before that. It's just styles make fights, and she just went to decision. But still, obviously, her age has not affected her cardio if she's able to keep up a high pace for 3 rounds, which are what RIZIN's fights are. Now, no reach listed for each fighter. Seika Izawa, slightly taller, 5 feet 2 inches, 157 centimeters to 5 feet 1 inch, 155 centimeters for Ayaka Hamasaki. So even though Izawa started out at strawweight and is moving down to super atomweight, she's not much bigger than Hamasaki. Of course, Hamasaki also used to fight at strawweight. So here you have one of the all-time women's greats in Hamasaki taking on one of the brightest young prospects in the sport today in Izawa. I mean, Izawa debuted last year in 2020, and within 4 fights, she captured the Deep Jewel Strawweight title and is now making her debut here in RIZIN against one of the best doing it right now, one of the best possibly to ever step into the ring or the cage and do it. I mean, the RIZIN champ, former Invicta champ that never lost that title, former Jewels champ. Hamasaki's done it all. And these are 2 very high-level grapplers in this bout. Hamasaki, primarily judo, with some catch wrestling thrown in. Izawa, also a high-level wrestler and judoka. I think she started wrestling first and then converted to judo and went to university. I believe she's still in university, but practices judo there. And if you know anything about judo, university judo is no joke in Japan. That's usually how you end up getting to the Olympics. So both ladies bring in a very high level grappling game. Now striking, Izawa is still working. She's still learning. She is very much a work in progress. I mean, only 4 fights. She does have some nice kicks. She used very nice kicks against the Deep Jewels champ Miki Motono in their first fight, particularly going to the body of Motono, and that's great. You know, if you're taking on someone older, you want to test out their cardio. You want to wear them down. You want to strike to the body. For Hamasaki, her striking mainly focuses on boxing. She goes to a boxing gym to work on her hands. She is a southpaw and has one of the best jabs in all of mixed martial arts. Her jab is just phenomenal when she gets it going. She not only jabs fast, she flicks it out there, she jabs hard as well. Her jab is just absolute money when she gets it working. And plus, being a southpaw, it means that she's able to use her footwork. Her lead foot is constantly going to be just outside of her opponent's lead foot when they get into range. And then she's going to come with that left hand, the power hand as well, that most fighters just don't have, southpaws to work with. So it's going to be a very good fight. Couple of questions here. Will the Big Show jitters get to Seika Izawa? She's only fought in Deep Jewels, and Deep Jewels is a small promotion. They're mostly in small venues, like 5,000 audience tops. Here she's going to be against well over 10,000 people. I don't know how many people they're going to have in Saitama, because they might be restricted, but still, she's going to be in front of a much, much bigger audience than she's ever fought in front of before. So will the Big Show jitters get to her? It's a good question, because those Big Show jitters are real. The UFC refers to them as octagon jitters. And anywhere else, it's Big Show jitters. It's one thing to fight in front of a small audience. It's another thing entirely to fight in front of a big audience. For Hamasaki, an interesting note here. In one of the recent RIZIN Confession series videos, she mentioned that she will be cornered by her friend and longtime mentor, one of the absolute all-time greatest women mixed martial artists, Megumi Fujii. Mega Megu will be in her corner for the first time since Hamasaki has come to RIZIN. Now, Mega Megu, she's usually one of the color commentaries for the Japanese broadcast, but she is going to be cornering Hamasaki for the first time. And I think Hamasaki is going to want to come out here, and she is going to want to impress for her friend, her mentor, who's going to be in her corner. I think she's going to be seriously hunting for a finish this time. Her last fight against Emi Fujino, she wasn't really hunting for the finish at all. I think she's going to come out here looking for the finish. I think both fighters are going to be coming out here looking for the finish. This is going to be a really good fight. A lot of people are really counting out Seika Izawa just because of experience levels. Do not count her out, okay? I know she's going in there against Ayaka Hamasaki, and it is hard to pick against Hamasaki. I'm not picking against Hamasaki. I'm going with Hamasaki. But that being said, don't count Seika Izawa out. Don't just write her off, okay? Don't be an internet know-it-all and just write her off. She's good. She is good beyond her, her time fighting and her experience factors. Keep an eye on her. She might just surprise people. Having said that, my pick is going to be Ayaka Hamasaki. Now, the very next fight on the card, and there's going to be an intermission between this one, is going to be a 110-pound, 50-kilogram catchweight bout. One of the absolute stars of Japanese mixed martial arts, Rena Kubota, taking on Korean Shi-U Park. I'm excited for this one. If you are into primarily strikers, this is a striking fan's delight, because both of these fighters are primarily strikers. This is going to be a good one. I'm telling you. Don't sleep on this one. let's go ahead and take a look at the stats on this one. Rena coming in at 12-3. Park coming in at 5-4. So Rena, the more experienced fighter. Now Rena's riding a nice 4-fight win streak over the last 2 years. Most recently defeated Park's teammate Miyu Yamamoto via TKO just last month in November at RIZIN 32. Now Park, she's riding a bit of a 2-fight skid here. She was on a nice win streak and then suffered a submission loss to Saori Oshima 5 months ago in Deep Duels, and then most recently dropped a decision to Seika Izawa in Deep. So she's going to be looking to get a win here. Let's see. Age. They are the same age, only 3 days apart. 30 years old. Park is 3 days the elder of Rena. Height. Rena is slightly taller, 5 feet 3 inch, 160 centimeters to 5'2", 157 centimeters for Park. Rena has a reach listed of 63 inches, 160 centimeters. No reach listed for Park on Tapology. This is another fight that I think a lot of people are going to be sleeping on the underdog here in Shiyu Park. Don't sleep on Shiyu Park. She has a tendency to underperform, but she's very much still a prospect. She's a work in progress. I mean, she's had more fights in the last year than she had most of her career, spread out over several years. So she's still very much learning. Rena, we all know what Rena does. You know, she has years and years of experience in shoot boxing, with the standing valetudo where you can kickbox, and also standing submissions, and you can do flying arm bars. Made the transition to mixed martial arts. Had some, some setbacks. You know, the 2 losses to Kono Asakura that she hasn't been able to avenge. She did take the loss to Lindsay Van Zant in Bellator that she was able to come back and avenge in RIZIN within the year. Rena just does it all. She's very phenomenal striker. She can throw a great arsenal of strikes. Particularly, she's very good with strikes to the body, whether they're kicks or particularly her punches to the body are absolute money. And when she gets to the ground, she's dangerous with submissions as well. Throws up submissions, arm bars, cravats, all kinds of submissions. Wrestling is a bit weak. Takedown defense still needs some work. And her transitions from different areas of the game is something that she has really been working on and training at different camps to work on as well. But Rena is one of the most prolific finishers in women's MMA. Has a 75% finishing rate between strikes and submissions. Park, on the other hand, like I said, she's very much a work in progress. She is originally a product of Team MAD in Korea, in Busan, South Korea, where she was a training partner of Sahi Ham, like the primary sparring partner of Sahi Ham. Now, late last year in December, she took a fight in Deep Duels, came to Japan, quarantined for 2 weeks right before the fight, and said, you know what, I'm not going back to Korea right now. I can get more fights in Japan. So she stayed in Japan, signed a multi-year deal with Deep Duels, stayed in Japan, started training at the Crazy Bee Gym alongside Miyu Yamamoto, Itsuki Hirata, Ursin Yamamoto, getting in some really good quality training and working with some good grapplers. You know, Hirata's judo and Yamamoto's wrestling. And Park really showed a lot of improvements in her last fight against Seika Izawa with her takedown defense and her ability to get back up. Now, her striking, she's always been a decent striker. Doesn't have quite as much power. Now, she thinks that she hits harder than Rena. I'd have to disagree because Rena just has more finishes with her strikes. Not that Park doesn't hit hard. She definitely hits hard. She's knocked down plenty of opponents, only finished one with strikes, but she certainly thinks she hits hard. She's got good kickboxing and has continued to improve it throughout her career. Listen, this fight is just like the other one. I'm not saying that Park is going to win. I'm picking Rena. But again, don't underestimate Park just because of her record. You know, go back, watch her fights. You can see that she is really developing fast as a fighter. I don't think she should be underestimated. Now, my reason for picking Rena, though, is that Rena has more ways to win. You know, she's won by decisions, of course. She's won by knockout, won by technical knockout, and she's won by submission. So she is a threat everywhere the fight goes. Park is improving on her ground game a lot, but she's still primarily a striker and mostly a decision machine, and she is vulnerable to submissions as well, as shown by one of her 2 recent losses was to Saori Oshima via armbar, and that is one of Reina's favorite submissions. So the pick here is going to be Rena, but again, don't sleep on Park. So there you have it. My thoughts on the 2 ladies bouts for RIZIN 33. Like I said, this goes down at the Saitama Super Arena on Friday, December 31st, New Year's Eve. RIZIN, New Year's Eve. Name a better combination in mixed martial arts. I mean, they just go together like peanut butter and jelly. So let me know your thoughts on these fights in the comments down below. If you liked the video, please give it a like. While you're at it, go ahead and subscribe to WMMA Scene Now, the best, most complete women's mixed martial arts dedicated platform on YouTube. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.